Then we had Theodore Long talking to Matt Hardy, and he was saying to Matt that there's been a match booked at Backlash between him and Jeff, and it's going to be an I Quit match. Matt Hardy is delighted to this because he says I quit are the only words that will make Jeff Hardy's fans abandon him once and for all, and he will erase him from the WWE and become the only Hardy. Right, my main point about this is, why is he telling Matt Hardy? Matt Hardy's on Raw now. Jeff Hardy is the superstar you're in control of. But yeah, at least we didn't have to hear Jeff talk, I suppose, so that's fair enough. Then we get Undertaker in action for the first time since WrestleMania. They say that, and then they're like, on SmackDown. Which is sort of like saying Vladimir Kozlov is undefeated on SmackDown. No, he's undefeated on ECW. Right, it's Undertaker versus Shelton Benjamin. I maintain that Shelton Benjamin has, like, promises more than just, you know, a wrestler, just an in-ring, you know, in-ring skills. Because his facial expressions are really good. He has really mastered facial expressions, and he's good at sort of annoying the audience during matches and stuff like that. It's just saying sentences towards a camera that he struggles at. That's the only thing he can't do. But yeah, Shelton looks pretty good here. I don't think there's ever really any doubt that Undertaker's eventually going to win, but the commentators do a good job of pushing the idea that he might not. Basically, Undertaker dominates at the start, then he goes for a suplex. Shelton reverses it into a neck breaker and notices the Undertaker's in incredible pain and does one of his good facial expressions, which shows, I have noticed you're in pain and I'm going to try and exploit it. Then we go to a break. When we come back, Shelton's dominating the neck of the Undertaker. Then we get, you know, a lot of Shelton domination. Undertaker tries to chokeslam him, and they do a rather untidy reversal into a DDT, which gets a 2 count. Undertaker sits up. Shelton does a beautiful bridging German suplex. It's not beautiful. It's pretty good though. And then he goes for a tombstone. He does all the sign and everything, but he's got too cocky, and the Undertaker tombstones him instead. And that's the end of the match. JR is furious at Shelton Benjamin as usual. You know, talking about how he's got so much natural talent, but for some reason he never wins. And I'm like, JR, it's not his fault. You know, it's booked like this. It's not his fault that he doesn't get to win these matches. But you know. Then we had MVP versus Dolph Ziggler. Before this, we'd had a little MVP segment backstage where he's talking to Teddy Long about he's appearing on The View, I think. Is that legit? I have no idea. He meets Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler is basically ignored. And as we know, Dolph Ziggler hates to be ignored. He loves to introduce himself to people. We're not sure what his second sentence is. We're not sure if he is a great conversationalist, but he's certainly an exceptional introducer of himself. So, then we have a match between MVP and Dolph Ziggler. And here's a match where I'd be quite happy for the person on Raw to go over against the person on SmackDown. But, believe it or not, that's not what happens. Dolph Ziggler gets a couple of good moves in on MVP's arm. He hangs it on the ring apron, then jumps down, and then he throws him into the ring post. And then he starts working on the arm. He works on MVP's left arm, and Jim Ross goes, MVP is a right-hander, so this is good strategy of of Dolph Ziggler to work on the left hand. It's like, that makes no sense, JR. If he's a right-hander, you should probably work on the right hand. But, you know, MVP gets him off inside. He does an overhead belly-to-belly throw that's a bit untidy. Then he does the ball and elbow. The match ends when MVP rushes towards the corner that Dolph Ziggler's in. Dolph takes him out with a low kick. Then he throws his head into the turnbuckle, and then he rolls him up and grabs hold of the tights. A heel victory, yes. Cheating, yes, but not really much cheating. And it did This match really put Dolph Ziggler over. And then after the match, he grabs the mic and goes, MVP, are you listening to me now? And then he just goes, I'm Dolph Ziggler, or something like that. And I'm like, really, if they're going to continue to push this guy, they can't just have his only gimmick being he likes to introduce himself to people. But there you go. Then we had the main event. The main event on SmackDown, which of course is a Raw main event, and not even a good one. Like, I wouldn't even think this would make the main event on Raw. Batista versus Ted DiBiase. Todd Grisham asked the immortal question, is Batista as good as he was before he got injured? I can answer categorically, viewers, that Batista is just as good as he has ever been. Yeah. Basically, I thought this would be a squash, but I know they do like DiBiase backstage in the WWE, but that's not really come out in any of his matches thus far. He's just been squashed just as much as Cody Rhodes. But no, but DiBiase does dominate for a bit. He works on Batista his leg for a while. He does that cool leg whip move. Apparently is one of his regular moves. He does a sort of dragon leg whip, then a kick to the face. He does a double foot stomp on Batista's chest, then a double foot stomp on Batista's leg. And basically, from then on, works the leg in a rather unimaginative way. To the extent Batista feels he's in trouble and even goes for an inside cradle. The worst inside cradle attempt I have ever seen in my life. Like, you know how, people like Ricky Steamboat say, make that move look easy. Batista shows just how hard that move is. Yeah. Well, anyway, how do you expect this match to end? Just take a guess. Say 3 words how you expect this match to end. Spinebuster, spear. I need 4 words. I'll just say powerbomb. Just save my face. Batista bomb. A really rubbish looking Batista bomb. Claims he's still selling the leg injury, but I think he just botched it. And that was that. Batista wins. Ted DiBiase does not disgrace himself, which is good. Legacy actually look reasonably tough recently. But yeah, that was the end of SmackDown, if you can believe it. That wasn't a Raw review for that last bit. That was SmackDown. And this was not good. This was not a good show. I'm hoping, I think next week, right, if they just played simple, all SmackDown roster on SmackDown, it could be really, really good. We could get a Jericho promo at the start, then Jericho would be putting a match in the end against, I don't know, someone good, but Jeff Hardy maybe. It could just be really, really good next week. But the upside is, it can't be any worse, because this was just a weird, weird show. Anyway, please feel free to comment, rate, ask questions. Your views are important, and subscribe if you wish, and one of me or Bobby will see you on Monday for a Raw review. Okay, bye.